Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers.
I'm Will Leggetter.
And today rounds out the movie section of our Christmas spectacular here at Carruthers, Carruthers, Leggetter and whoever. And we are joined by a new, fresh special guest. Why don't you introduce yourself, Miss Rhian Holmes?
Hello, my name is Rhian Holmes.
I guess that's about it. No, Rhian is joining us. She is someone I met. She's a new first year in the world of my studies. And one time at a party, we found that we did a great parlor game, or whatever you want to call it. I'd say it was probably more so myself than yourself, Rhian. I had not to blow my own trumpet. Just a great aptitude to recreate long stretches of today's film, Frank Capra's, I say Christmas masterpiece. No, it is Christmas. We're not going to get into that argument of people saying, oh, 2/3 of it don't take place at Christmas. It is a Christmas film. I certainly wouldn't watch it any other time of year.
No.
Yeah. But it never really has the argument, like the diehards of the world. Nobody has ever put that question on It's a Wonderful Life.
I didn't know it was a controversial topic. I thought It's a Wonderful Life was always a Christmas movie.
Yes, it's wonderful news, for when all these wonderful people get into the swim, it's a wonderful life. For never before has any film contained such a full measure of the joy of living, the drama of living, and above all, the glorious romance that makes this such a wonderful life.
No, it is. I was just reading a few things and they were like, they call it a Christmas movie.
You can't believe everything you read on the internet, Tom.
This is true. But no, I've noticed it myself. I'm like, no, in actuality, 2/3 of it aren't. I always forget, every time I sit down to watch it, I always forget how short the Clarence bit is.
Yeah.
Don't you ever get tired of just reading about things?
Yeah. Hey, what are you doing tonight?
I don't want to get married to anybody, you understand? I want to do what I want to do. And you...
I was like, is this a mistake? Have I got to like tune in for part 2?
And then he's outside, well, not Martini's, he's outside Nick's, and there's only 20 minutes left. I thought, oh, I do, and I always, it's not that I'm not, it's probably because I get so sucked in and enjoying the first 2/3.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, no, It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, for me, this is it, really. This is the best Christmas film. Scrooge second, Christmas Vacation, Gremlins, then probably Elf. But I think in actuality, it's the fact that it's a Christmas film that takes it out of the conversation for many people of greatest movies of all time. I think that because it does have that sort of critical reverence, obviously the audience adoration, but I think people sort of don't put it in those grand conversations of Citizen Kane, Casablanca, Godfathers, because it is a Christmas movie and we only watch it once a year. Will, what's your relationship with this James Stewart classic?
This is a Christmas film that I've always watched with my dad. He loves it. So it's one that we usually sit down to watch together. No one else is interested because it's black and white.
There we go. Yes, exact same thing. Even the first chapter, me and my mum every year taped it for a long stretch of time. And my mum was like, we need to watch it this year. We need to watch it. And obviously I was getting more into films. And I was like, well, I want to watch it. I need to watch it. And we finally watched it. Isabel didn't get through the first 10 minutes. Black and white, black and white, black and white. I'll let you know, in actuality, I screened it, well, barely. I brought my TV into the kitchen the other day and barely got to bloody hot dog, Gowers. We didn't even get past Gowers. And they were like, oh, it's black and white, it's black and white. It really, really grates me, the whole black and white old arguments. My sister's the worst for it. She will, when we are picking a movie, the first thing she will ask is when was it made? Not who's in it, not do you like it, not what's the genre, when was it made? And that's her biggest determining factor. Rhian, do you have this sort of hatred of black and white old movies in your household? Or
Not at all. It's the same as well, really. It's like compulsory viewing in my house, according to my dad. But it's grown on me every year. I think the older you get, the more you appreciate it.
Oh, this is the thing, and it's a very, very dark film. And you know what can be brushed off as a child viewing it, and as your experience in life continues and continues, certain factors resonate more and more, and it becomes an all the more affecting. I don't have a playlist, but I have a head playlist of, if I'm in a bad mood, I'll just make it worse, and I'll YouTube the end of It's Wonderful Life, the end of Scrooged, neither of you are Mad Men people, but there's a very upsetting group therapy scene in Mad Men that I watched. Yeah, no.
I think group therapy would be good for you.
Yeah, maybe. Well, no, it's all hippies. They're all hippies. And then, anyway, Will is finally going to be losing his Mad Men virginity in the new year, which is very exciting. Dr. Evil. For the viewers, for our listeners, Will put his finger to his mouth like Dr. Evil.
That was a very surreal thing. Other day, I was just at 3 o'clock in the morning watching Austin Powers.
Surreal.
Very strange. I mean, it was extraordinary. It's brilliant, but
what do you mean surreal?
I didn't expect to be doing it, and it's a strange movie to have on at 3 o'clock in the morning. I suppose it's not, is it? It's
not really. Which one? Which one are we talking? International Man of Mystery.
Yeah.
Who does number 2 work for? You show that turd who's boss. Classic, great comedy. And Robert Wagner, famous wife murderer, alleged maybe wife murderer of Natalie Wood. Did Chris do it? No, Chris loved her. Let's dive straight into it. Let's see. Will, we should have kept track of how many times we've gone on a Natalie Wood, Robert Wagner tangent.
This is definitely over 10 times now.
It was
last week.
In the early episodes, because we did 2 Matthew Broderick movies, and there wasn't an episode that went by where we didn't talk about the Dublin car crash. That was a dark string of episodes. We start off with looking at YouTube comments. Donna Reed is such a timeless beauty. She is indeed. It's sad that all of these great actors aren't anymore. That is quite sad. Yes, these people are all. Are they all dead? Zuzu's probably alive. I hope so.
I think she passed recently. I don't know.
No. It's like watching like Challenge, and you're like, oh God, these are all probably dead or dying. I don't know why I waited so long to watch this movie. Never expected it to make me cry. This is a gem, and I should have respected its genius sooner.
Wow.
That's from Kyo. Their kiss looks painful, not passionate. That's the point. But
that is the point. Another thing I appreciated with age.
Yeah, because you just watch it and you're like, why is he so angry? Why is he so angry?
Why is he headbutting her?
Why can't James Stewart kiss any woman?
Yeah.
Because
in
it's
any
not
movie.
just this movie, it's
it is
Vertigo
a
as
Jimmy
well.
Stewart thing.
I haven't watched Harvey in a while, but I need to rewatch it just to see if there's an awkward kiss in it. Because Vertigo, he just kisses everything but the mouth. He's like, that's one of my good impressions. Unfortunately, that was me and an ex's parlor trick. We would do a great impression of Jimmy Stewart kissing women, but I unfortunately can't really do that anymore because we're like, hey, do you remember, that scene? Sort of, like, get away from me. I'm so happy after witnessing this masterpiece. Each man's life touches so many other lives. When he's not around, he leaves an awful hole. But they've spelt it wrong, and it's AWEFUL.
Oh,
and that's how they're spelling hole. I would love to go back in time to see America back in those days. The war. Honestly,
what about that universe makes you think like, oh, idyllic?
I mean, Bedford Falls is pretty idyllic. It's lovely.
It's like poor though. Isn't that the whole point?
Some parts of
like the rich capitalists.
Oh, Mr. Potter. Mr. Potter. George Bailey, whose ship has come in. The abundance of impressions are on their way.
Impression tally.
Yes, I'm allowed 10. No, I'm not doing that. Best 10-minute stretch. Why don't we kick it off with our dear guest? What are your nominations for 10-minute stretch?
I loved the dance scene into the throwing the rock. Iconic.
And the lovely walk, yes, the walk home, the hydrangea bushes.
Although,
go on.
I think there was a section of it that didn't age too well, and that's the ransom of the robe moment.
I think maybe it's because I love it too. No, actually, I'm going to stand by this. I think it goes on just long enough.
Yes.
I think it's really playful, no matter the... I sound like It's Always Sunny, the implication. But no matter the implication, it's definitely playful. And I really do think that there's nothing in anybody's minds that George is a pederast.
I just think it's when she says, I'll call the police. And he goes, well, they'd be on my side.
Yo, that's just a great line, isn't it? Don't tell me you didn't chuckle, Rhian. Go on. You can admit it. You can admit it. I think it just goes on long enough. And then he's like, oh, Mario, sorry, we're going to go. Your father's had a stroke. I think it'd be better if maybe he threw the robe in and then the car came. So it didn't look as if.
Yeah.
But all the same, young love. It is, I think they just do an excellent job of, conveying a man's life in 2 hours. And in that microcosm, conveying a whole falling in love in a 10 minutes.
Brilliantly done.
It's brilliantly done. And then we have the bitterness of that with one of my later nominations that I call the Angry Night, where he's had to where Harry's come home with Ruth, and he's like, oh no, I'm never leaving here. And we obviously have that great scene where she's also happy, and she gets the record ready, and she gets the painting ready, and I was like, son, and then, I don't want the plastics, I don't want the ground floor, and the kiss that we discussed. But the dance is just sensational. Will, do you? I know you will be. It's just one of the best parts of the film.
Well, I've definitely got the dance as my best ever stretch, without a doubt. Yeah.
They must think we're really good. When he's doing the hands on the knees and she's clapping around like a happy chicken, it's just lovely.
I wish it was more socially acceptable to dance like that now.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? I've said this for years. I think this came in on the Grease episode of like, my mum called me out for being a sexist, basically, because I was just saying like, I just wish it was more like the old days, and you could you paired up and you had a nice dance, and then my mum was like, oh, so you get to pick, do you? And But no, the damn, there's no bumping and I sound like an old man. There's no, bumping and grinding, and there's no Charleston contests anymore.
The things they listen to these days, it's just
There's
noise.
no jiving. And I do, it's lamentable. They used to teach this stuff in school. They used to teach them the bossa nova, and then you'd go out and do your bossa nova. But nowadays,
To be fair, we were taught the Harlem Shake in school.
oh God, what was your go on? What was your embarrassing school Harlem Shake?
It was for it's a national festival from my country, mother country, called the Eisteddfod, and it's like a festival of arts and dance. And they thought, it's 2014, we're at the height of culture, Harlem Shake.
Will, what was your embarrassing school Harlem Shake?
I can't remember. I don't think we did a whole school one. I think we might have done it in the corridor because we're all really funny.
We didn't. It was just terribly conceived. They got us all in the hall, like everybody, like almost 700 students in the big sports hall. And the conceit was that the opening bit where it's all normal, all the students would be normal, and the principal, they gave him like a funny hat and big Elton John glasses and a feather boa, and he was like, and he was going around the students, and then when the shift happened, he was then normal, and then all the rowdy lads were just like, and then he started pushing them down.
Oh my God.
Poor Mr. It was either Shelby or Shelton, or it was definitely Shell something. Rhian, any other nominations for Best 2 Minute Stretch?
It's got to be the scene where he comes back from the bank. There's the drafty old house.
Yeah.
Here you are.
Help me down?
Help you down? Made up your mind yet?
I'll take chocolate.
With coconuts?
I don't like coconuts.
You don't like coconuts? Say, brainless, don't you know where coconuts come from? Look at here. From Tahiti, the Fiji Islands, the Coral Sea.
A new magazine. I never saw it before.
Of course you never. Only us explorers can get it. I've been nominated for membership in the National Geographic Society.
Is this the year you can't hear on? George Bailey, I'll love you till the day I die.
I'm going out exploring someday. You watch. And I'm going to have a couple of harems and maybe 3 or 4 wives. Wait and see.
I have that as Snap at Fam because I didn't have enough space. It's the best acting. I firmly believe it's the best acting James Stewart's ever done.
You see the conflict, and it's just so jarring.
And just the underscoring of bloody hell, what's she playing? Kings, 3 Kings or something. I don't know. But that keeps going, and it starts grating on us too. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it starts within one of my weirdly specific favorite parts of the kid where he's like, It sounds so scary. Falls in close, and Mary knows straight away. Mm-hmm. She knows absolutely straight away, and it builds and it builds, and we spend time with it, and it builds and it builds, and he kicks the bridge down. I don't know what that is. A plan for a new bridge, maybe for the town. And he's like, none of this matters. It's not going to be a new bridge.
That.
Yeah, it's a big bridge. Did you like that, Will, as an architect?
I enjoyed that a lot.
The big bridge model, and then obviously in the midst of that, you have the lovely little sweet moment with Zuzu with the petals, and he puts them away, puts them in his pocket, and he lies to his daughter basically, and he puts the plate. I want to give her a drink. Close your eyes, there's going to be a whole garden. It will. Very nice. Little Zuzu. What a darling child. I've got here, and then we'll see if I missed anything. I've got Gower. I've got the poison. It's the first glimpse that we're dealing with a dark film. This isn't just. I mean, you could say that the opening is pretty dark, I mean, we find out we're dealing with suicide, but it's still, you know, it's the little stars, and the stars are lovely, and but you know, we're not dealing with something. And then suddenly, in the first 15 minutes, we're dealing with an old man coming to terms with the grief of his son dying, accidentally going to poison a child, and then the brutal slap of the ear, and again that realization, and he snaps it in. Oh, George! Oh, and then he pulls him close. I think that kid doesn't get enough credit.
Oh my God, yeah, the acting.
You know, so many kid performances are just terrible, and it's a bit like in Forrest Gump, where they filmed the kid stuff first, and so then Tom Hanks, whilst he was creating his Forrest, was also modelling it off the kid character. And I don't know what came first here, George the chicken or the egg, Joe Stewart or the little boy. But you can see the little things. You can see lots of little touches, and he's just marvellous in it. Yes, Dance and Walk, Angry Night, The Bank Run. That torrential rain. It's just, I guess you could say, from a realism point of view, maybe, that all of these, you know, the stroke happens at the end of the Dance and the Walk. The bank run happens the day of the wedding. But for me, that is just this world of fate that we're in, that any minute it just gets so close, shut down. And for me, the bank run is the most telling one of them. Do you like the bank run, Will?
I do.
The great Donna Reed. How much do you need? What a woman. Mary's great. I really, you know, lots of, maybe you can speak to this more, Rhian, as a woman.
Token woman.
As a token woman, and who called me out on one of my screenplays. Oh no, it was Ruby, but at your
I seconded it. Yeah.
Because it didn't pass the Bechdel test well. It wasn't that the women weren't very well written and so depthful and pained, but there wasn't an awkward scene that I had to shoe in where to. No, I'm kidding. But maybe you can speak to this, Rhian. I really do think Mary, and maybe we'll talk about Annie later. You know, Annie, you know, I guess, you know, with a 2020 lens, it's not great that she's one of the only speaking person of colour in it, but also I think it resembles not just the time of filmmaking, the time being presented, this small, predominantly white town, and then in the final bringing of all the money to George, there's another black woman. I mean, she doesn't get any lines, but you know, that's the filmmaking, and I don't think we can judge it for that, because in actuality, Annie is a pretty good character. Lots of great lines. There's no awkward, you know. Oh, Annie's here. You know.
I love the bit where Ma Bailey's like, "Oh, we're a couple of old maids now," and Annie says, "Speak for yourself."
I mean, it did take me a while without subtitles to understand what she was saying in the final scene. Just really go for it.
I've been saving it for a divorce if I ever get married.
You know, throwing the money out. I was saying divorce. But where are we? Yeah, talking about how great Mary is.
My opinion, and then you carried on talking. No, I think Mary's just brilliant. Like, it's the whole behind every great man thing. Like, in the beginning, you're kind of led to believe that she is his obstacle, and that like she's going to be one of the things holding him back. But really, she just wants to support him, and she does so much without being kind of the shrinking Violet character. I feel like she could have been fleshed out more, but again, it's a reflection of the time.
And we have a shrinking Violet.
We
do.
Not
shrinking at all. The wonderful Gloria Graham. Are we Film Stars Don't Die Liverpool fans? Excellent film from a few years back. Annette Bening and Jamie Bell. True story of Gloria Graham, who played Violet in this movie. In her later life, she fell in love with a scrappy young actor from Liverpool, and he was with her during her final years. Lovely, marvelous film. Annette Bening's excellent. Should have won an Oscar again. Not again. She didn't win for American Beauty, did she? I think we've had this before. Is Annette Bening an Oscar winner? I'll Google that. But everybody watch Film Stars Die. Film Stars Don't Die in Liverpool. No, she's only ever been nominated. She was nominated for Best Supporting Actress for The Grifters, nominated for Best Actress for American Beauty. She should have won. Best Actress for The Kids Are All Right, and Best Actress for a film called Being Julia. Annette Bening deserves an Oscar. Give Annette Bening an Oscar. I don't know what she's in recently. I don't think she's in anything this race. She's probably given up. It's a real shame. Meeting Clarence. Wonderful Jack Travers. Just delightful as Clarence. I think this is my favorite. I know it's an obtuse thing to say, but it is. I think it's my favorite Christmas Carol film. And I know that it's not a Christmas Carol.
You said that last week about Scrooged.
Scrooged is my favorite Christmas Carol film. It's a Wonderful Life is my favorite Christmas Carol film. I don't know, but Clarence is marvelous.
Oh yeah.
Well, I get the impression that if George is taken out of the equation, Clarence is your favorite character.
I'm a big Mary fan. I'm a big Mary fan.
I mean, everybody should be. I mean, maybe this is where my high standards are coming from in not in relationships, in finding a new woman, finding any woman, is the films that I love at Christmas. Mary Bailey, and Claire Phillips from Scrooge. These are big. And then obviously Sally Albright, and I mean, we're getting into it.
That's not a Christmas movie. Yeah, I would say, yeah, Clarence otherwise is he just does all the jobs of what the three ghosts would usually do. Why send three ghosts? Why has no one picked up on this in future remakes? You don't need it's just get one guy to do it. So,
like we did in our version of A Christmas Carol. Where it was
just because you wanted to play all three.
No, I said we did it. We did a parody musical, Rhian, called A Hitler Carol, where what if the angels came to see Hitler and be like, "What are you doing?" And then and I said, "Somebody else be the angel," and they were like, "No, you do a funny Australian accent." Doesn't have to be Australian. Well, no, originally it was an Al Pacino angel because I wanted to do my Al Pacino impression. There was really no rhyme or reason. But it did lead to some wonderful voice work where we recorded me saying, "What's the line?" And we put a didgeridoo under it and it echoed around the room. And it was like, "Oh, don't you see Hitler?" Something like that. And I would have it as my ringtone if we lived in a less judgmental world. I
would pay good money to see that.
You can watch it on YouTube literally in an hour when this is done. I will send you the link.
Thank you.
Again, another dark part, the graveyard, and then realizing that Mary's an old maid. I don't know whether I have it. I don't know whether I have it in change or question. Would Mary be an old maid?
Yeah, because she had Sam Wainwright following around.
Well, no, I don't think she'd ever get with Sam because Sam's in New York. There's no chance of that.
Yeah.
But, Mary's not staying single.
I just love how everyone else's alternate realities are like dead, in jail, insane asylum, and hers is, she's single. Oh, no.
She's a librarian. Oh, my George, she's an old maid, George. And then it's when we don't know that she's a librarian. It's like, oh no, she's an old maid. Where is she? She's just closing up the library. And then she's got those little glasses. I don't know why she has glasses. What's changed to her eyes in those
Reading all those
years?
books.
Reading all those books.
Yeah.
There was time. Time enough at last.
Movie logic dictates that you give a girl glasses, she's ugly. She takes them off, she's beautiful.
Yes. What's a great example?
She's All That.
Oh, no, I don't know that.
Literally anything from the 90s.
Oh God, there's definitely. And then she can't see properly, and then she's like stumbling. Oh God, it's going to come to me like halfway through. Will's going to be talking about how dark the ending is, and then I'm going to shout out, "Meg Ryan in!"
They do that in Scooby-Doo too, where they give Velma.
Oh yeah, where Daphne gets sexed up. Is it Daphne?
Velma.
Velma. I
And then
forget.
she's stumbling around because she actually can't see without a
Is
glass.
that what I'm thinking of? Am I
think
thinking of
it is.
Scooby-Doo 2?
Great
Peak
film.
cinema.
I think, in actuality, a rewatch of them might actually. I think there's some good stuff. Well,
I love the Scooby-Doo movies.
Yeah, they always tweet the adult things in Scooby-Doo that you missed.
Also
they-
snubbed at the Oscars.
famously. And then, I mean, I don't want to speak unanimous. Clearly don't want to speak. But I dare say that I think everybody's in agreement. The best 10-minute stretch is undoubtedly. I'm trying to think of a joke.
Take your time.
No, I'm not going to bother. It's the end.
Yes.
From him running back to the bridge after seeing his librarian wife, and running to the bridge, and then praying to God, and then it starts snowing again. I
And
just
then
keep
his
going.
lips bleeding again.
His lips bleeding. I mean, we all know my favourite part because I quote it all the time. Oh, George, I'm bleeding, George, I'm bleeding. And then, what are you doing? Bird, I'm bleeding, Bird, I'm bleeding. And then just going home. Again, Mary, that's the bit, here's a question. When was the first tear? Because it varies.
Yeah.
I usually vary. But this time it was pretty early on. It was the minute, it's when it cuts to Mary, when Uncle Billy's saying, everybody pitched in, Mary told everybody, and it cuts to her, and she's looking over it all, and she's got that little wry smile, and it's all behind the eyes, and Donna Reed, what a woman.
Beautiful.
And but another time that usually gets me, because everybody's coming up and they're saying funny jokes, and that's very sweet and very emotional, but the guy that comes up and goes, I wouldn't have a roof over my head if it wasn't for you, George. It's getting me now. I'm welling up now. And I'm not welling up, but I'm getting something in my chest. Maybe it's the corona I've got. Day two of isolation, everybody, for those who are listening. Day 2 or day 3? 3.
2, 3.
Oh, do you count the Friday? Well, anyway, we're not getting semantic. But I wouldn't have a roof over my head if it wasn't for you, George. Will, what's? Do you cry at this if you're in the mood?
Oh yeah, it's going. It's seeing the family. It's that big. Oh, and we're back to normal. And that big sort of pressure, the relief. That's the.
Baby, I knew you'd come through. Now, here's the point. Mary, you're in on this too. Now listen. Have you got any money?
Money? Yeah. Well, a little.
Well, now listen. I want you to put every cent you've got into our stock. Do you hear? And George, I may have a job for you. That is, unless you're still married to that broken-down building and loan. Well, this is the biggest thing since radio, and I'm letting you in on the ground floor. Oh, Mary.
Well, I'm here.
Will you tell that guy I'm giving him the chance of a lifetime? Do you hear? The chance of a lifetime.
He says it's the chance of a lifetime.
Now, you listen to me. I don't want any plastics, I don't want any ground floors, and I don't want to get married ever to anyone. You understand that? I want to do what I want to do. And you're... Oh, Mary.
George.
Mary.
And then another one, you know, 25, I've instructed my office, $25,000, hee-haw, Sam Wainwright, and just that moment of silence before, you can see it. It's just exceptional acting from Stewart. Again, it's all behind the eyes, as well as his wonderful speech. Rhian, what's your tap? Open the taps moment.
See, for me, it was like building when he sees the kids, and then he sees Mary, and then it's when everyone just starts coming in, and like even the funny, like you say, the funny like quips, they just get to you.
And
that's just brilliant.
Here's to George Bailey, the richest man in
The
town.
richest man in town.
Incredible.
Oh, that was like the rolling moment.
An Auld Lang Syne. I'm going to bust this one now. Me and Will have had this debate. I want Rhian. I think this is the question that hangs over all of Carruthers, Leggetter and whoever. What is the best Auld Lang Syne moment in a film? Is it this, The Apartment, or When Harry Met Sally?
Oh. See, it's got to be this, because it's like the one, it's like this song is so depressing. As
brought up in When Harry Met Sally, what does this song even mean? Are we saying that we should forget old friends? Are we saying that we remember them? Or should we say that maybe it's to say that we should never forget that we remembered them? Anyway, it's about old friends.
But I just think like this is the one time that there's actually some hope for them and for George.
Well, yes, and I'll get to my depressing theory, really depressing theory later. But just sensational. It gets you every time, and it's the triumph of the film, the build of it all. It's splendid. Tom's Whittler's specific favourite part of the film. I can't see. Oh, that's right. You haven't got your wings yet. I just love that we're seeing through clouds. When Mary whispers into his deaf ear, "Is this the year that you can read?"
That's what I had.
I gotta love you for the rest of my life. I want a big one. And the freeze on that. I mean, Violet's introduction, Gloria Graham in that marvellous outfit and hat, walking down the street, and everybody just taking a peek, and then the guy in the road, and then the car nearly runs him over. Oh, this is just what I wear when I don't know what. When I don't. What did she say?
How I look.
That's it. Oh God, marvelous. The two frozen looks on George. The first one being. Oh no! You have to stay, George, or else they'll vote with Potter, and we just freeze on him.
Yeah.
And it's pain. Well, technically, there's three. The next one is Ruth coming home, and well, it was all for necessity. My father offered him a job, and just dead face again. And then that wonderful bit where Sam Wainwright, tells them about how great the plastics industry is, and they just kick the dirt and walk back to the car. The kiss. How much do you need? Can I have $17.50? Oh, sorry, but and he kisses her. The record rotisserie chicken. Loved that.
Oh yeah.
Well, just even that, Mary is an intuitive woman. The wipe of the hand. Maybe it's a bit on the nose after he shakes Potter's hand, and he really milks it, and he's like, "Oh no." I've put here, it's going to snow again. Oh, it's going to snow again. When he shows Ernie the newspaper, he's like, "See this newspaper? it's going to snow again. He's like, no,
What do you mean it's
no.
gonna snow?
Oh, wonderful. Grabbing the child. The squirrel gnawing at Uncle Billy. Does he have squirrels in his house?
Also the crow that's always on his shoulder or his hat.
Yes, that's the crow, the bank crow. The bank crow. Extreme close-up on his face after he leaves Nick's, and he does the look from left to right.
Yeah, I had that one.
It's the trailer moment. Will's more general favourite part of the film.
I've got the bit again when he everything goes back to reality. Not only the lip bleed, but when he finds Zuzu's petals again. That's always that gets me. That's and I've got the policemen singing outside the window. That's always a zany thing.
Kiss on the forehead and the hat slap.
Yeah, I've got the swimming pool opening. I want that to happen to me. That looks really fun.
You would be the teacher who's like, oh, get out. Oh well.
I really do want to go in, but I'll go on then.
Go on.
Might as well.
That's IT crowd. That's dinner party. I've had a few drinks, so don't take advantage of me. Oh, go on then. Sarah Hadland, who I've met.
Really?
I don't mention it, do I? I actually don't mention it anymore because I then met Academy Award-winning actress Sally Field, and that's a bit more of a brag. And I had a mental breakdown in Times Square and was crying and walked past Neil Patrick Harris. So they're my celebrity claims to fame. Go on, Will. Quick tangent. What's your celebrity claim to fame?
I bet the Hairy Bikers. Sorry, McKellen. There we go. That's the.
Oh
the
no, that's your real one. That's your proper. That's your proper one.
Yeah.
Go on, tell the story. Tell the story.
The story. Well, I did a wonderful for my GCSE. I've done two. I did another one recently, didn't I? A painting.
You did a marvelous James Stewart.
Yes, I did. He's downstairs. I'll get that up for Christmas.
He's downstairs. James Stewart's downstairs.
he's just
I don't
resting.
Live painting.
I did a painting of Sir Ian McKellen, and then we went to see him in Sheffield with the other one, Patrick
Stewart.
On
No Man's Land, Harold.
Yeah, in No Man's Land. And we emailed saying, just wanted, I'm coming to see, big fan. Just show this picture to him, please. I've done this. And we got back. He really likes it. He'd like to meet you. Oh, go on then. And so I had to carry this giant painting the whole time, blocking my view. And we went outside, and everyone was like, they came out, and Patrick came near us. They were like, no, we want to speak to Ian. It was like, I
don't have a painting of Patrick.
I can't do Patrick. And he came out, and he took me aside, and he put his hand on my shoulder, and then he was like, oh, what do you want to do when you're older, William? And I was like, I can't really tell him I want to be an architect. I want to be an actor, Syne. And I loved you in Othello, because I was playing Iago at the time. I was like, I watched you. It was very, very good. And then I got my picture taken. It's very nice.
Did he sign it?
He signed it as well. It's just there, actually.
Yeah. Rhian, do you have any brushes with fame?
They're mostly like C-list, D-list. I did have a Q&A with Rob Brydon and Ruth Jones, but I'm not sure how big of a deal that is.
Oh, yeah. The worst part of Gavin and Stacey.
You don't like Rob Brydon, do you?
I think I enjoy the trip.
Love him.
I enjoy the trip because Steve Coogan doesn't like Rob Brydon, and it's like, all the times he gets annoyed, I'm thinking the exact same thing. I think it's an intentional insufferability in the trip, and I'm not saying Rob Brydon's insufferable. I think it's quite intentional, but no, I just can't. I mean, Rhian's Welsh, so don't take this as a personal attack. I will personally attack the Welsh anytime. You give me an air. I have. I literally, Rhian said she was Welsh, and I went, ugh. At least you don't have the accent. And I just don't like any of the Welsh stuff in Gavin and Stacey. Anytime we're back with Gavin and Pam and Rose Lot and Adrian Scarborough and Julia Stevenson, I'm in. I'm all yours. the minute a Welsh person is on the screen, including Stacey.
Niche humour, like it's just
Niche
lost on you.
humour.
No, genuinely.
I like when they watch Doubt and they're like, oh, there's all that doubt. That's good. Any more general favourite parts of the film, Will?
That's it from me.
Soundtrack corner. I mean, it's a tie between Old Lang Syne and Buffalo Girls, won't you come out tonight? Won't you come out tonight? Won't you come out tonight? Buffalo Girls, won't you come out tonight? And hands beneath the night of the moon. What did you wish when you threw that rock? What would your vote be, Rhian?
Soundtrack corner. Just like the suspenseful moments, like the bank run, where you got it's very eerie.
And then there's the
like clinging to hope that he'll just get back in the car, but you know he won't.
Oh God, are you seeing the Oscars here?
Is that you put that as your background, Tom?
Can we all see we're all seeing my background here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yes, this is my background. It seems that my computer is completely frozen. So we're going to stop the share and we're going to return. Oh, yeah. Can you see me at all?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, I can't see you.
No.
But we'll continue for the meanwhile. The Oscars. It lost everything. Everything got lost to bloody the best years of our lives. I think for me the biggest travesty would be Stewart for actor. Stewart loses to Stewart. Oh no, he is nominated. I've got the wrong year. Do you just hate it when that happens? Wrong year again. You know, this is what happens when your computer freezes. Stewart is nominated, but loses to Frederick March for The Best Years of Our Lives. A fine film. Some may even say a good film, but certainly not It's Wonderful Life.
Exactly.
Then we have Donna Reed without nomination.
Wow.
Without nomination. I mean, she's great, but I'd have to give it to Celia Johnson for Brief Encounter, I'm afraid. No, it's a pretty good year. Best Years of Our Lives is obviously good. It's Wonderful Life, then Brief Encounter. Are you a Henry V man, Will, Laurence Olivier?
I'm not a big fan of Olivier doing Shakespeare.
Aren't you?
No.
At all?
No, especially not his Othello.
Well, that's a different kettle of fish entirely. Yeah, just it was a massive failure. It was a massive failure at the time.
It's a surprise, isn't it? I suppose it's become that classic through time, but it's strange that it wasn't the big hit it was when it first came out.
It was, I think the budget was 35 million and it made 33.
Well, they thought it was too self-indulgent and too depressing at the time.
Yeah, I mean it is depressing, but it's good. It's got something to it. It's a real film. Will's favourite building or set?
The model of the bridge.
The model of the bridge. Right, I'm overpowering you, Will.
It's a set piece.
It's their house.
That was one of my nominations, Tom. I was going to get to the house. You fool.
Nabbed again.
The house was done up, not the derelicts version.
What do you think of the sort of halfway? No, it's not a halfway house, but it's
the makeshifts. No, it's all right. It's you could say it's romantic, but it's a bit rainy, isn't it? I wouldn't want that pouring down on me.
You could say it's romantic, but it's rainy. Is that a sex joke when he not you, Will, when James Stewart does a double take at the bed? Is that supposed to be like wedding night? Yeah, you dirty bastard, James Stewart.
Well, it is a wedding night.
Because he definitely looks at the bed and he's like, oh, I thought it was going to be rainy. I mean, Robin Williams does a great thing about actors that he would like to see in pornography, and James Stewart is one of them. So, that's a great sketch.
I want to live again. Please, God, let me live again.
Hey, George! George! You all right? Hey, what's the matter?
Now get out of here, Bert, or I'll hit you again. Get out of here.
What the Sam Hill you yelling for, George?
George. Bert, do you know me?
Know you? You kidding? I've been looking all over town trying to find you. I saw your car piled into that tree down there, and I thought maybe you... Hey, your mouth's bleeding. Are you sure you're all right?
What you... My mouth's bleeding, Bert! My mouth's bleeding! Zoot pedals! Zoot! There they are! Bert! What do you know about that? Merry Christmas!
Best single minutes. Will?
Hello. I've got everyone helping out at the bank. I really like that a lot because it's just that nice sort of community spirit. I've got his big outburst in front of the children, and then I've got the ending, even though it's 10-minute stretch, but that particular minute of the ending.
Rhian, anything you want to throw in?
For me, it was Gower with the Sawyer. Such a good minute. When he stands up to Potter in the building alone, and he has that great line about how the rabble do all the working and paying and living and dying in this town. And it's just such a good...
Is it too much to ask that they live and die and pay and eat in two rooms and a bath?
It's just a good...
I don't think so.
And like, obviously it's like followed up with the sadness of him having to stay, but in that moment it's like he has all the power.
Because nobody wants Uncle Billy. Nobody wants Uncle Billy to do the job.
The ending, obviously.
Yeah. I've got here the ice. I know it's Harry nearly drowning, but I just like, I'm not scared.
My kid brother Harry.
I'm not scared.
I just love how films establish sibling relationships in the most awkward way. It's always like, hey bro, hey sis.
Suitcase. I wish I had $1 million. Hot dog. The the after dinner with the dad before they go to the dance, and that lovely touching little moment. I mean, he's yet to learn that will be the final time he talks with his dad.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, we don't know whether the stroke led to, he was still conscious or whatever. Maybe he didn't die that night, but it's the last time he's going to have a fully coherent and lovely conversation with his dad.
Yay! Hello, Bedford Falls! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas, George! Merry Christmas, George! Merry Christmas, movie house! Merry Christmas, Emporium! Merry Christmas, you wonderful building and loan! Hey! Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter! Happy New Year to you! In jail! Go on home, they're waiting for you. Mary! 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 Well, hello, Mr. Bank Examiner. How... Mr. Bailey, there's a deficit. I know, $8,000.
George, I've got a little paper.
I'll bet it's a warrant for my arrest. Isn't it wonderful? I'm going to jail.
Sad. The wedding house, lovely Mary. The meeting with Potter, and he begs basically. Both of the Potter meetings, when he tries to buy him out. God, there's dogs.
I think there's somebody at the door.
There's somebody at the door. And the bar, not Nick's bar, Martini's bar, where he's all sad. And he starts praying. Very upsetting. Best line. Will, kick us off.
Hello. I just like the sort of the bit where he's like, well, you really have lived a wonderful life, George. And any movie where they say the title of the movie and everyone looks at each other and goes, oh.
I am very thankful that this movie doesn't end with George pulling Mary close and going, it's a wonderful life.
I'm glad they got it over and done with at an appropriate time.
Remember, George, no man is a failure who has friends, which is usually my go-to Christmas card line. People don't get it, and they're like, what's that from? And it just kills a part of me every time. Rhian, you got anything?
You want the moon, of course. Also,
lash or donkey?
Very specific moment, but when he steals Mary away at the dance, and he says, oh, why don't you just stop annoying people? Like, you think it's going to be a really, like, cutting-edge remark, but no, that's all you need. And like, his reaction as well. He goes, oh, I'm sorry. Wait.
And, well, Othello, did you know that this pool, did you know that this dance floor has a pool under it? And that I have the key? And that George Bailey and Mary are dancing over it? And he just keeps going. Joseph, Jesus, and Mary, help my friend Mr. Bailey. He never thinks about himself, guy. That's why he's in trouble. I love him, dear Lord. Watch over him tonight. Please, God, something's the matter with Daddy. Please bring Daddy back. Oh, no. This is a very interesting situation. Please give me my robe. A man doesn't get in a situation like this every day. Ouch, ow. Gesundheit. And yeah, you know what? I do like, maybe I can sell tickets. Anything else, Will?
I like Annie going, I've been saving this money for a divorce if I ever get a husband.
Rhian?
I think that's all of mine. Just like, or just general quips. And also every time he's like asking people to repeat themselves, I just think it's really nice moment.
I think you got my deaf ear there, Ernie. Isn't it wonderful? I'm going to jail. He doesn't even care that he's going to jail. Love that. What's the change? We've touched on Annie. We've touched on old maid Mary. Yeah. I have here the crowd when he goes to talk to Vi, and he's like, "Oh, let's take our shoes off. I'm in the grass." And then within 30 seconds or less, an entire crowd is amassed around them.
Yeah, I just think that's a really weird moment. Like, he wants to run in the grass.
Sounds a really nice night. I'd love to see the sunrise with somebody after swimming in a lovely pool. That sounds great. I mean, I get that she's, a glamorous girl, and she's like, not in these shoes, I'm wearing a nice dress. I can't run about. So I get where she's coming from. Just the crowd around gets me every time. There's lots of jump cuts.
There's just a bad cut where he comes to visit in the there's like it's a continuation one, and it's just like they've skipped a frame out.
There's loads of odd little cuts in this.
And like wipe transitions as well.
No, I don't mind them. No, I mean, they can be in your change, I guess, but I don't mind them. It's the excessive jump cuts within scenes, and I mean, there's the scene with Potter and Uncle Billy is the worst for it. There's like 5. It's like and I mean, you could say that the disappearance of Clarence and Ernie falling to the floor isn't perfect, but I don't mind that. That's okay because I think it's quite well done. But anyway, any other changes, Mo?
That's it from me.
Rhian?
I guess it'd be cool to see like the beginning sequence through a more modern lens, like because we've obviously got a bit more advanced technology, like rather than just,
the stars. Oh.
Yeah.
See, I don't think so.
It is nice, but I think maybe just I don't know.
I think
it's cool to see it like played out differently.
Yeah, I think it's where you do lose a lot of people when you're showing it them.
Yeah,
they immediately, what the fuck is this? But I think I think it's sweet. I think it's charming, and I think it's effective as well. Little Clarence's little star running in. That's it for me. Anything else from anybody change wise? Well, let's go to Will's notes.
That's it from my notes.
Okay, Rhian, anything left in your notes?
Just really liked it. It's just timeless, I think.
I've got a few little more notes. I'm going to have a couple of harems and a few wives. I like Clarence going, I like George Bailey. Mary seeing George at the party, her little double take. Your caboose, milady. Mary's mother just looking visibly depressed at the wedding, just crying and looking so angry. I watched a great Simpsons episode the other day where they go to the bank and they were like, "Oh, where's all of our money?" And then a version of James Stewart came out and he went, "Oh no, but your money's in Mo's house and your money's in his house." And then Mo goes, "Why's your money in my house?" And he punches a guy. The angry Uncle Billy, John Mulaney does a great sketch where he's on about you fucking Uncle Billy. Very funny. And a very sad little Uncle Billy bit where he's like, "I've checked all the rooms I've locked since I lost Laura."
Oh yeah.
It's just really rough. It's just, I mean, we like to laugh off Uncle Billy, and he's foolish, and he's got little strings on his hands. But that's a rough line. And then Stuart's singing in the final Auld Lang Syne, which is really quite bad, but brings us into the world of the realism.
I love Zuzu's singing in that. She's so shrill.
I just love Zuzu. What a little girl. What a lovely little girl.
And he has no qualms about like showing that she's his favorite child either. Like the other three, and then he's like, "Zuzu."
Well, she's the youngest, isn't she? So she gets that sort of up, I guess. Alternate ending corner. There isn't really one. A few fun facts. There are plenty of those. For the scene that required Donna Reed to throw a rock through the window, director Frank Capra hired a marksman to shoot it on cue. To everyone's amazement, Reed broke the window by herself. She had played baseball in high school and had a strong throwing arm.
What a legend.
Very good.
Donna Reed, what a woman. Yeah. As Uncle Billy drunkenly leaves the Bailey home, it sounds as if he stumbles into some trash cans. In actuality, a crew member dropped a large tray of props right after Thomas Mitchell went off screen. James Stewart began laughing, and Mitchell quickly improvised, "I'm all right, I'm okay." Director Frank Capra pedals. Frank Capra decided to use this take in the final cuts and gave the stagehand a $10 bonus for improving the sound. $10 in 1946 is the equivalent to $132 in 2019.
Whoa.
Good for him.
I want to get paid for dropping stuff.
Something that we haven't talked about. James Stewart was really nervous about making this film because he was a war hero and he went to war, and this was his first film back, which led to him being very nervous about his kissing scene with Donna Reed, and that sort of leads to some of the embarrassment and anger and unrehearsed nature of that kiss, which makes it so painful, passionate, and effective in the film. Prior to this, films for snow had used cornflakes painted white, but they were far too loud, obviously, when people were walking on them. So all the dialogue had to be re-recorded. Frank Capra didn't want that, and so led to making the form of snow that people all use today.
Oh, wow.
So we can thank this film for snow. While filming the scene in which George prays in the bar, James Stewart was so overcome that he began to sob. Frank Capra later reframed and blew up the shot because he wanted to catch that expression on Stewart's face. That's why that close-up is a little bit more grainy. Apparently, Mr. Gower was very drunk during the scene where he slapped young George, and the slaps were real and caused real blood to come from Anderson's ear. After the scene was finished, Warner hugged and comforted Anderson.
Oh, I can't watch that the same way.
Yeah. Originally, the film ended with Ode to Joy, not Auld Lang Syne. It's a good choice. In the original script, Clarence confronts Potter about what he did to George, and it was to take place right after Potter yelled, "And Happy New Year to you, in jail!" Good choice. Good choice. Don't need that. The scene on the bridge where Clarence saves George was filmed on a backlot on a day where the temperature was 90 degrees Fahrenheit. This is why James Stewart is visibly sweating during most of those scenes. Now, have any of you seen the colorized version of this?
I have, and it doesn't work.
It looks dreadful. This was a weird thing in the 80s. I can't remember the name of the guy. Ted something. And he just got the rights to it all. He got the rights to all these movies, and he colorized them. Casablanca was colorized. This one, and Spielberg, Lucas, all Bogdanovich, all these directors came out and said, "This is insane. You can't be doing this," and stopped some of them. Couldn't stop all of them. I'm very glad that my Blu-ray doesn't. I don't even want to see the option. Don't even want to see it. It's a musical. We're all musical people. Have any of us listened to the musical?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but there was a big problem with the legal wranglings with it all regarding the rights. So it's really been, yeah, lots about this. So there's the urban legend. Well, it's not even an urban legend. Everybody thinks it's just a fact. Is that Bert and Ernie in Sesame Street are named after these? And that's bullshit. The series creator of Sesame Street said no. It's just coincidence.
Clearly the other way around.
Yes. So that's not depressing. It's far more depressing things in this world. Tom's big question.
Oof.
They're putting up their tree on Christmas Eve.
Some people do.
It's insane.
I agree with that.
With what?
Just not like, because people nowadays, you get to 1st of November and people jump the gun. I like the sanctity of Christmas. At least like the week of Christmas.
Oh no, we're
like no one else agrees with me. Like I will go home and my tree will be up. But I think
first week in December is good because the build up to Christmas is better than Christmas itself.
Jesus Christ! Fucking hell!
The more you build it up, the more disappointed you're bound to be because it's
but we're not children anymore. It's not like we're like building up thinking we're going to get a mountain of presents and then we get like a lot of presents, but just
it's got to the stage where I actually start asking for socks. I enjoy it. I relish it.
I do look forward to getting a cologne.
A cologne?
Yes, this is a Twilight Zone episode. Number 12 looks like you. I opened my present and it turns into what's it? Be right back.
Yeah, with Donald Gleason.
With Donna. And what's her face? Bloody hell, what's her name? Hayley Atwell. You're a Black Mirror person, Rhian?
I am, but I haven't seen them all.
No. There's that then, isn't there? There's that then. The pig one's the best one. Someone's big question. Right, here's two really depressing. Mary's wish is George's curse. We are in a film where angels and wishes all exist. So effectively, Mary's wish that they will live in that house and they will fall in love is George's curse. Mary is to blame for George never leaving Bedford Falls.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Good idea, Ernie. A toast to my big brother George, the richest man in town. Christmas present from a very dear friend of mine.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
That's right. That's right. Attaboy, Clyde.
But also he has the opportunity to go. The thing that really keeps him isn't the bank closing, isn't his dad dying, isn't Harry coming back. The thing that keeps him is his own need to please and the fact that he lives for other people. You're
saying that George is a giver?
Yes. He's like put in this terrible compromising position, but it's essentially his choices. And that's why it's so sad. Because yes, he feels trapped, but also it's just because he's a compassionate, selfless man that he does all these things.
He's just great, isn't he?
He's just great. And Mary loves him for that. And so you can't be like, oh, she's holding him back. Because part and parcel of him staying is that she wants him to be happy, which is why she kicks him out when he gets all moody at her. She's like, if this isn't the life you want, then go. But he comes back.
Plastic should probably go around the floor.
So you are right, but you're also wrong.
It's good, but it's not great. And then the depressing factor of this is, It's a Wonderful Life is a very different movie if he doesn't have a wife and children. I mean, we know what the film's stance on marriage and companionship is, but if George is a lonely man, and then it's a very different ending, because eventually all those people have to leave, and then he still goes to bed and faces Christmas morning alone.
Jesus.
Well, no. No, that's what my mum says. Anytime I go for a breakup, well, no, there's only been one, and she's like, see, look at all the friends you have. And I go, yeah, but if George Bailey didn't have Mary, then he'd still be waking up alone. So some deep-rooted narcissism there, I guess. Poor George. Well, it's not poor George. He's got a lovely wife and he's got 4 kids.
You have to consider George Bailey at your age was still single and didn't know what he was doing.
No, he wasn't. He was with Mary. No, he wasn't. He was with Mary. He had found the love of his life. No, what was I going to say? When I said, and you've got 4 kids, it was literally the way that Kim Woodburn says it when she's having a go. The guy who was on Strictly, and she was like, "You're an adulterer, you're an adulterer, you cheated on your wife, and you've got 4 kids." And then the bodyguard comes up to her, and she's like, "Oh, darling, please, you're an adulterer. I wouldn't piss on you if you were on..." No, he says, "I wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire." And then she goes, "And I wouldn't shit on you if you were on fire." Oh, God. What's the better Big Brother moment? Is it that, or is it...
David's dead.
David's dead. David's dead. Oh, David? David's dead? Yes, not that David, my ex-husband. She just told me David jumped in a cancer.
It's after that where she stood outside and she's just laughing maniacally to herself.
Oh, she's gonna die. No, my favorite bit's when Angie Bowie's all alone and she's like, "No, I've done it now, Big Brother. I've done it now. You're gonna have to help me, Big Brother." Talking to Clarence, maybe. Synopsis of a sequel. I'd forgotten about this, but there was a propositioned sequel. Rhian, why don't you take us through this, because you reminded me.
Yeah, so there was an idea for a sequel that was going to come out as late as, was it 2013?
It was 2013, and it was swiftly, officially cancelled by 2015, thank God.
And it was called It's a Wonderful Life, The Rest of the Story, in which George Bailey's troubled grandson is visited by his deceased Aunt Zuzu as an angel. But this is the thing that tripped me up. So in the IMDb synopsis, it says he's visited by Aunt Zuzu, who tells him how much better everyone's lives would be if he hadn't been born.
Oh.
Which is like really off base, considering the first one is like, look how much you mean to people. So we theorized that it was probably like a Scrooge situation.
Yeah. Hopefully the moral of the story is that he's a changed man and that he doesn't just kill himself. Yeah. Buy me the biggest goose in all of London. We're not in London, we're in Bedford Falls. That'd just be depressing. Everybody would be dead.
Yeah. I don't know how I would feel about it being in like what, the 2010s. Like
don't like that. Maybe
like the same iconic quotable lines, because people don't talk like that.
Unfortunately, they do still in Stephen King's modern day. People still in Stephen King's modern day sound like they're from the 50s, which is what makes his 50s set movies and books so excellent, and all of his modern ones that little bit weird.
I liked Carrie.
Which 70s Carrie?
Oh no, the modern one as well. I like some.
No. Oh God, we are not getting invited back.
But no, it's perfect for the digital age. Like it just translates well.
It may translate very well, but what about, performances, writing, directing, all that, that made the first one so good?
All great.
And this is coming from a big Julianne Moore fan.
Yeah.
And I thought she was dreadful.
Wow. I've ruffled some feathers here.
I've
really done it now, Big Brother.
I've done it now.
Help me out.
David's dead. What? I saw him. For the classic Kim Woodburn, my vote is for Nicole, and then the old corrector, Nicola. Oh, don't be so stupid. Talking about her own name.
Don't be so stupid.
Don't be so stupid. Just excellent stuff. That's it. Closing line, Hall of Fame. Should all the Queens be forgot? Attaboy, Clarence. Attaboy. And
to George Bailey, the richest man in town.
Yes, to George Bailey, the richest man in town. Well, any final comments on this marvelous film?
It's very good, isn't it? It's a good one.
It is indeed. Rhian,
It's just a brilliant commentary on camaraderie of the working class. The FBI actually were told to keep a close watch on this film. It was deemed communist propaganda.
Well, it does. It is a bit, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because it's like, you know, the man, the big business owner is deemed as like the villain.
Well, they always kept their eye on Frank Capra because all of his films, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, bring down Washington. You know, these are big themes for 40s films.
Yeah.
No, Mr. Smith's 30s, I believe. And anyway, just splendid. It is the greatest Christmas movie. The minute this podcast ends, I'm going to be writing an article for the blog. Everybody go follow the blog about how it's still the best Christmas movie. There is just no doubt in my mind. I think it's one of the best films ever made. I think it's flawless. It's just perfect. I adore it, and I always will do. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Dabba 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 da da ba 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 ba.